going to save you out of your captivity. No matter how many leaders rise up, you got Martin Luther King, you got Malcolm X, you got Marcus Garvey, you got all these different, you got the Black Panthers. All them rose up at a certain point in time to try to save us out of our captivity, but yet we are still here. Why? Because we refuse to keep God's commandments. That's what put us here in the first place. Do you know who the Israelites are? The Jews, you know what the Jews are?
Yeah.
Who are the Jews? Are they in Israel today? No. Who are they then? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Give me Romans 28 verse 15.
Bring it up.
All right, we're going to find out who the Israelites are according to the Bible. Who are the real Jews?
Right.
All right, give me Romans 28 verse 15.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15.
Read it up, John.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Now this is Moses. You know who Moses is? You heard of Moses? He's speaking to the Israelites right now. He said, if you do not listen to God's words, read.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
So the statutes, commandments, all that goes into the law of God, right? The Bible. If you do not listen to that, what's going to happen?
Let all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
God said there's going to be curses to come upon your people for not keeping his law.
That's right.
And what are some of the curses we're going to talk about? Verse 16.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
Read it again.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
Meaning no matter what city you go to, you're going to find the Israelites or the Jews in the ghetto, in the slums, in the cursed estate. Now, who is cursed in the city? Who's getting shot down by the police? Black people. Who has the highest crime rate? Who has the highest murder rate amongst their own people? Exactly. Wouldn't you say we're cursed? Wouldn't you say the black man is cursed? Exactly. Read that again.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
It says, cursed shalt thou be in the field. What is that talking about, being cursed in the field? Right here.
That's
Cursed in the field.
Right.
Picking cotton.
That's right.
Right? That's going into our people. Who else went through that?
Bring it up.
Nobody. You said besides the what? Browns? Talking about Hispanics?
Yeah.
Well, there are people too.
That's
they
right.
went through that too. They're cursed in the city. That's why you see them in the ghettos. You see what? You see, you'll see blacks and Hispanics together.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Give me verse 68, real quick. This is the main one. This is how we know we're the Israelites. Got that?
Yeah. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
So the Israelites at this point just came out of Egypt, or the land of Egypt. God said he's going to bring you back into Egypt, but this time it's not talking about the physical land, Egypt. It's talking about slavery.
That's right.
Talking about spiritual Egypt.
Right.
God said he's going to bring you back into Egypt again. Read that, keep reading.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
It says with ships. Now who else went to slavery on slave ships? Black people went to slavery on slave ships.
That's right.
Hispanics went to slavery on slave ships.
Right.
Native Americans went to slavery on slave ships.
Right.
God said that the Israelites were going to slavery on slave ships. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
So once you get on those slave ships and you brought to that other land, you're going to be sold unto your enemies. And who bought the blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans? White people,
Right.
Caucasians. God said what? They're your what?
Sold unto your enemies.
God said they're your enemies.
Right.
Because friends don't sell friends into slavery.
Right.
Read.
For bondman and bondwoman, and no man shall buy you.
So what does it mean that no man shall buy you? Because if we read earlier that you're going to be sold, so somebody actually bought you. So what does it mean no man shall buy you? What is that talking about? Okay, so the buy here is an old Quaker word meaning to save. No one's going to save you out of your captivity. No matter how many leaders rise up. You got Martin Luther King, you got Malcolm X, you got Marcus Garvey, you got all these different, you got the Black Panthers. All of them rose up at a certain point in time to try to save us out of our captivity, but yet we are still here. Why? Because we refuse to keep God's commandments. That's what put us here in the first place, was not keeping God's commandments, Deuteronomy 10 and 12. So you understand that we are the real Jews, right? Actually, can you reference 2 and 9 first? We are the real Jews, not the ones that are in Israel today, right? Not the ones that are fighting with the Arabs trying to take our land, because that is our land. All right? Right, Lee? That's our land. Read that.
Revelations chapter 2 and verse 9.
This is what God calls the Israelis. Right? Read.
I know thy works and tribulation and poverty.
So God said he knows our works and tribulation and poverty, because we're the ones that are impoverished.
That's right.
Right? We're the ones that are in the ghettos, in the slums. Right? We're the ones that are on the bottom. We're the ones that call niggas, spit, wetback, all these different kinds of names. Right? God said he knows your tribulation, Sean. He knows everything that you have to do. Right? Read.
But thou art rich.
It says God said you are rich. Why? Because the promises are for us. The land is for us.
Right.
The kingdom is for us.
Right.
The world is for us.
Right.
We're above all people on the face of the planet.
Right.
God said you are rich. Read.
And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews.
He says he knows the blasphemy, the lies of them that say they are Jews. Read.
And are not.
Now who is going around the earth talking about we're the Jews? Who does that?
Bring it up.
Who has their own land? They set aside to themselves, calling themselves the Jews. The Jewish land. Who says that? The Israelis, right? Right. They had their own land set up that they took from the Palestinians, right? And they said, we're the Jews. We're the real Jews. God said they are what?
And they are not, but are the synagogue of Satan.
They're not the real Jews, because we just went through, the real Jews going to go through the curses.
Right, that's right.
And we are the ones that fit those curses, right, Sean?
Right.
All right, give me Deuteronomy 10 and 12. Now this is for you too, Lee. All right?
Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12.
Bring it out.
And now Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee?
Now that you know that you're an Israelite, right? Read.
But to fear the Lord thy God.
So God requires you to fear him.
Right.
All right, and what does it mean to fear God?
Be afraid.
Huh?
Be afraid.
But how do you, what are you afraid of?
Oh, I mean. Wait, say that one more time, the question.
What are you afraid of when it comes, because God said you have to fear him. So what are you afraid of?
Oh, his wrath.
His wrath? Huh? His power? Okay, this is what you should be afraid of when it comes to fearing God. Read.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 120.
So this is King David, the mightiest king to ever live. Read.
My flesh trembleth for fear of thee.
So King David said, my flesh trembled. He is shaking, scared. Why?
And I am afraid of thy judgment.
He's afraid of God's judgment.
That's
He's afraid
right.
of getting put to death.
Right.
That's what we're supposed to be afraid of. And how are we judged? Based on the law.
Right.
If we're keeping the law or not. So that's why he said, I fear God's judgment. I fear the judgment he will bring upon me if I don't keep his laws.
Right.
All right, go back.
Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse 12. And now Israel, what doth the Lord thy God require of thee? But to fear the Lord thy God.
Now make sure you're following, Sean. How do you fear God? What do you fear? What do you fear? His judgments. Based on what? What is he judging based on? The laws of God. All right, read that.
To fear the Lord thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
So how do you love God? Obeying his laws.
Right.
You agree, Khalid? Exactly. Obeying his laws. What you got? No, that's good. You got it. Read that.
To serve the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. To keep the commandments of the Lord.
So the whole point of being an Israelite, knowing that you're the real Jew, is to keep God's laws. Because at the end of the day, he only gave it to you.
That's right.
What is a nation?
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. nation is you.